Okay, that's it. We've reached the final episode this season before the reunion. These freaks are all showing their true colors at the circus. Let's recap this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. All right, so we get separate group outings where they're all gonna talk about how terrible Heather is. Shannon and Emily at the chiropractor, and Gina, Tamra, and Jen go shopping for Halloween costumes. Oh my god, did you see the size of Shannon's bruise? It's all the way up her arm. It didn't really look like she hurt herself getting off that boat on her trip, but her body is saying otherwise. Anyway, she basically gets beat up and tells the doctor she feels better afterwards.
Oh, Tim, stop! What are you doing? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It does feel a lot better.
I don't even want to get into the nitty-gritty of their conversations because it's just the same old, same old. Heather gives Terry a recap of Mexico. Basically, she says it's like high school when the head cheerleader is paying attention to one of the nerdy girls. Then all of a sudden, the nerdy girl dumps her friend because she's in with the cool kids club.
I basically got dog for 5 days in Mexico.
Oh, so the alpha girls are speaking to him now.
So now the head cheerleader, Tamra, came back and all of a sudden giving them attention.
Emily says she believes it's Heather and not Tamra calling her a loser behind her back because Tamra owns up to her faults. Well, yes, Tamra does sometimes, but not right away. Also, I'd be more inclined to believe that Tamra would use the word loser over Heather. It just doesn't seem like a word Heather would use. But Tamra would most definitely call someone a loser. I can't believe these ladies are such bad judges of character. I 100% agree with Heather's high school analogy. Tamra is back on the show and is the alpha dog. They're all scrambling to get on Tamra's side because that'll guarantee them staying on the show. Jen talks to Ryan about her Mexico trip and tells him to be upfront and honest with her with everything that happened with this cheating scenario. She says it feels like Tamra has been sitting on additional information and now she wants to know everything. Ryan says that when he and Jen were on a break, he slept with this mystery woman that Tamra knows one time. That's it. I honestly think Ryan is that simple and it was nothing more than that. There's no extra details he's leaving out. What purpose would that serve for him to hide things at this point? The truth comes out that Jen is hesitant about taking the next step in their relationship because she doesn't see why Ryan would attach himself to a woman with 5 kids who's going through a divorce. It's interesting to see that self-esteem and thoughts of self-worth don't just die off once we aren't teenagers anymore. These women are all 40 plus and still struggling with those thoughts. We get a scene of Shannon and John going out to dinner. We get to see a moment of them bickering because Shannon keeps insisting that he try a bite of her food, and he keeps saying that he doesn't want to.
You gotta try this. I'm gonna have one more bite. No, I want you to.
No, I don't want to.
Can you try one bite?
No.
Why?
I just don't want to.
So Shannon goes on about how all her kids will be out of the house next year and she's going to lose it being alone. John says it's an opportunity for them to be together on their own and relax. He also talks about them going to travel to visit wherever the girls are. All these future plans. This seems so strange and contradictory since he ultimately broke up with Shannon once filming was complete. I feel like it really must have been all the talk Shannon did about their relationship while she was drunk, which we can basically confirm given Shannon's DUI last weekend. What do you guys think? What was the straw that broke the camel's back? Shannon's home colonic system with Dr. Moon? I have my thoughts about it. Well, more like doubts. She gets Jen to try it because it seemed like she's been backed up since their trip to Mexico. Shannon and Tamra seem to poop multiple times a day, so they're telling Jen something must be wrong since she doesn't. Listen, I'm a nurse, and you don't actually need to go every day. Would that be ideal? Yes, but you can still have regular bowel movements if you're only going, say, 3 times a week. Everyone is different. Looking at that contraption Shannon attached to the toilet, I feel like that's just asking for multiple injuries if someone doesn't lower themselves slowly onto that thing. But apparently it works. In the previews, we saw that Heather plays a clip for Gina. They have a sit down to hash out their issues and they get right into it. Heather basically doesn't let Gina speak and she says, I'm just going to play the audio of the proof I have for you. She plays Gina a clip from Tamra's podcast with Telly Mellencamp.
To who? Your entire cast. And she loudly yells at me. She's like, you know what? We gotta go. I don't want to hang out with these losers.
That's us.
Of course, Gina immediately makes excuses for Tamra. I don't get why everyone just excuses Tamra's bad behavior. It's honestly because she yells. She gets in their face, she yells at them, and they don't want to have confrontations with her, so it's easier to pretty much forgive all her malicious actions. Tamra knew she was coming back onto the show, that they were trying to build around Heather. All last season, it was about finally seeing the massive mansion she and Terry built and showing off how rich they were. Stuff like that is aspirational to viewers. We don't get to peek behind the wall of homes like that all the time, and it's a draw for the Housewives who can showcase that. We know they're not all as rich as they try to play off, but Heather isn't pretending. So Tamra needed to secure her orange now that she's been given a second chance and decided to blow up all the relationships Heather had built.
Heather is rallying the troops. She was trying to take each girl side by side and talk shit about me. What are you doing?
Finally, we get to Gina's circus party. The fact that from start to finish, all these ladies can do is badmouth Heather Dubrow is really disappointing. Was there nothing else that could have been the focus in their lives? Now even Jen and Taylor, the nice girls, are ganging up on Heather. Apparently in Mexico, Heather went to hang out with them and then said she was going to go get her soup from her own room and never went back to see them. My assumption would be that she fell asleep. Did they call her or even ask her about it the next day? For it to bother you this much and not address it directly is just bananas. Taylor is drizzunk and is choosing to use this opportunity to confront Heather. Very poorly, might I add. Heather said she ate her soup and passed out. She didn't know they originally had plans to go out when she went to see them, and they could have texted her if they were concerned about where she was. If it were me, after waiting a bit for Heather to come back, I would have called or texted her. And then, if she still didn't answer, guess what? I would have gone out like I originally planned to do. That just shows they didn't ask Heather anything about why she didn't come back, so how is she supposed to know they were mad? Taylor says she would have texted them before she passed out, and she doesn't have to chase her friends because they show up. This is such low-hanging fruit. It seems dumb and petty that this is sort of the Heather Dubrow pylon. Okay, and I just have to add, Taylor is definitely not a cute drunk. This is how we end the episode. Everyone is mad at Heather, besides Gina, who's trying to backtrack now that she's actually heard the clip of Tamra being the one to call them all losers. Okay, side note. At the end, Tamra says...
No, you don't need to run.
Okay.
We are good.
Okay, thank you.
She is happy.
Okay.
That's all I care about.
Okay, now that she's milked that storyline as much as she could, now everything is just good? I don't get her at all. Nothing is resolved. There's no bow tying everything up nicely. We just know that the reunion is most likely going to be a lot of yelling and a lot of tears. Who do you think is going to get the most at the reunion? My guess is it will be Heather, but I'm curious to see what Shannon thinks about Tamra after watching the entire season. What are you guys looking forward to the most at the reunion? What rating would you give this season? Honestly, just comparing it to last season, I would give it an 8. Entertaining enough to keep me watching every week, but I feel like they could have cut it back 2 to 4 episodes. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. That's it for this week's episode. Be sure to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch up next week. Bye.